Okay, welcome to another one of our webinars on Colombia. This one, we are focusing on the destination of the Colombian coffee zone, the traditional part. We're going to do another one, which is more the off the beaten path. That will be in a few weeks, will actually be next month. That one will be, because we're doing these monthly now. But today we're just going to be talking about sorry, I'll just let Patrick enter. Today we're going to be talking about the traditional coffee zone. And I'm going to be here today with Natalia, who is our general manager. She's been with us for quite a while. She's also a scuba diver, mother of two, and a chef. So she'll be talking about food and the traditional dishes and meals that you can get in the coffee zone. For those that don't know, the coffee zone, it is pretty much in the center of Colombia. I'm going to share my screen a little bit, show you a Google map so you get an idea of where it is. Now, if I'm sharing the right screen, which should be this one with the map on it, then you'll be able to see that this is the coffee zone here. This is Pereira. Zooming out, we've got Bogota here, Medellin, Barranquilla, Cartagena. So this area, sort of pretty much here, is the coffee zone. We're looking at three main cities here. We've got Armenia, Pereira, and we've got Manizales up here. Technically, Ibagué has also been added to the Colombia coffee zone, but traditionally it's just these three, and it's called the triangle, or the coffee triangle. So today we're just going to be talking about this particular area right here. Starting off, talking about why the coffee zone. It's basically because it's a beautiful area. It was declared an UNICEF heritage location in 2011. Reason because it's just so quite unique. Realistically, there is nowhere else like this in the world. It has got a beautiful landscape. You'll find it when you come here. If you haven't been already, you should be coming as often as you can. It is a destination where we have the tallest wax palms in the world. We have the Andes Mountains, smaller rolling hills. We've got massive, beautiful valleys, amazing lakes, amazing hiking areas. The history in the coffee zone you can find as well in the way of the coffee history. Obviously, it's the key location for coffee in Colombia. It is grown in other locations, many different locations actually, but this is the main location with the most plantations in Colombia, and much of it is exported throughout the world. Today, as always, I am going to be using this as a guide a lot of the time. Now, this here is the Colombian Coffee Zone City Guide. Okay, this is a very useful guide. You can find that. Everybody who's attending today's webinar, I'll be sending that to you via email as well. But it's got some great links here, 2 different places on our website where you can find about the weather, a bit more information about the different cities that I've just briefly mentioned here, a few different golf courses, and a lot more information. Look, there's a lot of pages here, a lot of information, and I'll be using this as a bit of a guide for what we're going to be talking about today. Now, but first off, what we're going to talk about, where are we getting to, what I'm going to start with is all the activities that you can do in the coffee zone of Colombia. Now, where we're going to find those is on our Colombian presentation. This can be found on our website right here using this URL. Okay, it's sort of hidden, sort of not, but basically you type in the Colombia presentation after you go onto our website. This page will pop up, and you're just going to click on here to present. This is the easiest way for you to find your way around Colombia. find the different modules that we have. These are all different modules that we have throughout Colombia. They are basically little mini itineraries, which are all customizable on the different locations. These are the main locations in Colombia. As I said, we're talking about the coffee zone today. So you just zoom in here into the coffee zone. I think I zoomed in a little bit too far. No, I didn't. I think my internet's, here we go. And we've got the traditional coffee zone, unconventional, or off the map. Today, we're just focusing on the traditional coffee zone. Click on that. It'll open up right here. This is the same. You can go to this in modules as well. But you can also, this is easily found here when you're there. Sorry, using this method, you go here, click on user-friendly view, makes life so much easier, and then it will give you these different options here of different, well, it's a sample itinerary, as I said just before. So you'll see the sample itinerary and with a few different optional activities. Generally, I'd say generally a good 90–95% of our travelers will fly in and out of Pereira. Okay, as I was showing you on this map before, Pereira is the largest city in the coffee zone. So we've got Pereira here, Armenia, and Manizales. Most will fly in and out of Pereira. So for the traditional coffee zone, I would definitely recommend using Pereira as your entrance and exit point. It's if you're flying in and out. Because from here, we go to Salento. From here, we've got Finlandia here as well. We've got a number of activities that we do in this area. Now, jumping back over here. Santa Rosa, the thermal pools of Santa Rosa. This is a beautiful, beautiful waterfall. It's a beautiful location, and it's mainly because of this waterfall. The thermal pools are spectacular. It's wonderful. It's relaxing. Weekends can get a little bit crowded. We do try to avoid the weekends if we can, or we send people there earlier in the morning. It's got some beautiful gardens, beautiful hiking areas as well. The area around the waterfalls is a lot of why people come here, not just the thermal pools, which you're going to see right here. So these is like the steaming hot water from the thermals come out here, and then the freeze. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, the steaming hot water comes out there, and then the really, really fresh cold water comes out to the sides. So you can actually walk around these thermal pools to find exactly the temperature that you'd like to enjoy and to absorb all of those minerals. So that's the Tamales de Santa Rosa, or I should say, the Santa Rosa thermal pools. This you can actually do, depending on what time you arrive or depart. We can do this on the way to Salento or on the way back from Salento, because most of our travelers enjoy staying in Salento. Wax palms, Salento, and a coffee tour. This is probably the good 99% of those travelers will do a combination of something like this. Okay, this is because from Salento, which is right here, this is Salento here, we've got the Cacao Valley here. So this is where you'll find hundreds of wax palms in the Cacao Valley and the wax palm forest. So being able to do this, doing a tour of Salento, even if you're staying in Salento, it's a great idea just to do a couple of hours walking tour of Salento as well. And then we can do a coffee tour in Boquilla, and we've got a number of coffee tours that we do around here or over here. And in fact, we do, we've got coffee tours in many different places. So it depends on the style of coffee tour you like to do as to which one we take you to. My personal preference are the more traditional ones, which are more traditional in the way that, second, I'll jump back to where I was, where you go through, you'll walk through a coffee plantation, you'll not just walk through, but you get to understand the whole process from seed to cup. You'll get to pick some of the beans as well. As well as this, you'll get to, grind the beans just as they used to do or they have been doing for a few hundred years. You get to roast them on an open fire. That's my personal preference. We have got other options which are more modern, I could say, whereas it goes into a roaster, which you may see in a lot of cafes these days. But this is a few shots of the wax palm forest. Sensational. These grow to about 70 odd meters. depending on who you talk to, they've got different rings on the actual, as you can see here, different rings. Depending on who you talk to, this might be 1 year or 3 years per ring. So generally, they last for around about 120 odd years, but nobody really knows. And it's an ongoing thing to protect these wax palms, to plant more and to regenerate this whole area, because a lot of it is privately owned. So there will be cattle or other animals will actually eat them when they're just little babies. So it's an ongoing project to preserve this area. Another one of our great tours. This one I love. If you like fruit, this is going to be one of the best fruit tasting experiences in Colombia. Here you'll have at least 30 different fruits to try. Normally she smiles, so it's not like that's her face normally, this particular guide. But it's a spectacular tour. You're going to try 30 different fruits. You're going to try different jams, different marmalades, and some juices. It's a case of this will actually last for a couple of hours, this tour. So if we're taking you there, we don't take you at the start of the day. You'll have breakfast. You'll go there around about 10 o'clock. This will fill you up. You won't be eating again until a good 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This is basically your lunch as well. It's a spectacular tour, a nice walking area around this, where this is as well. It's close to Finlandia. Jump back here again. Okay, where are we? We are Salento. We've got Finlandia here. This area here is called Barbers Bremen. And this tour is in this area. It's around about here, more or less. So there's a lot of nature, a lot of birds. It's a beautiful location for bird watching as well. We do actually do other tours in this area, which I'll talk about shortly as well. And now we're on to Finlandia. Finlandia is a spectacular location. It's a colourful town, really colourful town, more so than Salento even. For me, I actually think it's a little bit prettier than Salento, just because there's more of it to see. More streets that are so colourful. The architecture is spectacular. The views are amazing. There's this giant mirador here that you can see. This has got 3 different stories that you actually climb up. And depending on which direction you're facing out of, you'll see different towns. Yes, and different views. And they've got the labels there so you can see what you're actually looking at. So it's a wonderful location. Beautiful, beautiful views. Great food. There's some amazing restaurants there as well to choose from. So not a bad location for a good lunch or a good dinner, or lunch and dinner by chance. There's actually a really cool weaving exercise or practice that we can do there as well. So it'll be really nice, really very nice experience to go there. Now, this is one of the experiences I was talking about in Barbers Bremen. We've got a night safari there. Now, this night safari, you have to have a bit of ability, or I should say, good walking ability. You're walking at night. You know, it's dark. You've got your headlamp on. You're going to have rain boots on. You're going to be looking for one of these little frogs. It's a little glass frog. But in the meantime, you also see tarantulas and other spiders and other arachnids and scorpions and other things that may scare some people and may excite most people. But this is a really cool tour to do. But as I said, you need to have a good physical ability to walk over logs, slippery stones. It's a case of you want smaller groups as well, because singing, the more people, the more noise, the less animals you'll see. But we have got an amazing tour there that we can do at night. The Jardín Botanical of Candil. This one is a beautiful location once again. It is pretty much the nicest botanical gardens in Colombia, or the largest, I should say. It's got a number of different museums here as well. I'll show you where it is using this map. We've got Circassia here, Armenia here, and it's around about, there it is right there, Jardín Botanical. Okay, it has got a number of different museums, as I was saying. It's got the butterfly house. So there you can go through and have hundreds of butterflies flying around you. You've got this really cool hike through there. They've got so many different plants and trees and stuff, which you'll all be explained to by a guide. It's got a bamboo museum there. They've got, turtles, tortoises. They've also got many ridiculous amount of bird life there. They've got a museum where they explain the tectonic plates. They've got a museum where they've got thousands of different insects and butterflies. It is really a really fun place to go and visit, to spend 2 hours, 4 hours. You could realistically put in a 6-7 hours thing there as well. Great for just a couple of people, great for large groups as well. Because of the size of it, it's easy to go and take large groups through there. Okay, what have we got next in this one? We've got the Cascada Los Rioles, which is, I'm going to zoom back out here. This one, if I go back into Pereira, and then I'm going to go out to, I was going to say Finlandia again, but I'm not saying Finlandia again. I am saying, I can't see where I am going. Here's the Tamales de Santa Rosa, for those that wanted, who I didn't show before.
La Florida.
La Florida.
Yes.
Which I can't see.
We can see it.
There it is, there it is. La Florida. Yep. Okay, this area is a beautiful area. Really nice, lots of nature. And the Cascada is right here. This is the SFF, Santuario de Fauna and Flora de Otum Cambodia. So this area is another protected area. It's another great location to do a little hike through, as you'll see a few monkeys, or you'll hear them at the very least. We can take people early morning. This is the waterfall that we're talking about right here. Take people early morning up till late afternoon to go and make sure everybody's out before it's nighttime, basically. But there's a bit of wildlife around there, a few foxes. There's some other, what are those ones? I don't remember the name of them. You know, maybe you can help me, Natalia, those animals with the big nose.
Okay. Well, you're talking about the dantas.
The dantas, that's one of the best places in Colombia to find a danta. But I was hoping to see one in one of these photos, but I can't see one. Okay, anyway, that is here, hiking the Cascada de los Rioles. Now that is basically the module, but as I said, we have got other optional activities like optional hiking, alchemy, for example. We jump back over here, go back here. Now, as explaining before, we've got Circassia and Salento here. So we've got the Cacao Valley. So when we do a tour of the Cacao Valley, it's going in here and going up into the mountain here, more or less to this, pretty much to this viewing point here. So it's around about 90 minutes to 2 hours in the wax palm forest. But if we're going to be doing the hike of alchemy, then you're coming in and then you're going to be doing a big loop around here and then back. So you also get to see, go and stop at the, not the butterfly, but the hummingbird sanctuary as well. You get to see that. You go over quite a few different bridges. It's not just bridges, but beautiful bridges in the way of bamboo bridges is what I was trying to say. Here, I've actually just remembered, I put a map in here. I put the link here for people to go and see where you're going. So it's quite a long walk. It can be about a 7-8 hour hike in total. So we do take lunch along the way. We do take snacks along the way. This is where you actually get to where you're going to the hummingbird sanctuary. And you're going back, and when you go back, you also end up back going through the wax palm forest as well. So you get to see the same part as everybody else who just does the shorter version, like the 90-minute, 2-hour version, but you get to see so much more. That is the alchemy. We've also got the Santa Isabella Glacier. Not as popular. It's a beautiful hike, but it's not the easiest to do. It's in, we've got the Nevada del Ruiz as well. Once again, another beautiful hike. It's for people who have got a very, very good physical ability. It's a beautiful location, as is everywhere in the coffee zone. It simply is breathtaking. You'll see these paramols. You don't get to hike as high up as you used to these days because it's still got an orange level at this point in time because it is an active volcano. So you don't get to go all the way up, not up to the snow line, but you get up pretty close. The Cerro de Marchin is another hike that we can do. This one, you get to see a few thousand of the wax palms. So this one's a bit more hardcore, I should say, in the way that you're going to be going in 4x4. You're leaving early. It's about a 12-hour day in total. You're going 4x4 to get to see these beautiful views like this, see these wax palms. You're going to be going off-road, more or less. But when you're doing the hike, you're going to be hiking up areas where you're going to be grabbing onto tree roots in order to make your way up there, if that makes sense. To make your way, continue your hike up to the top, you're going to be struggling a little bit. So it needs the really good ability to hear. But when you're up there, you get this wonderful thermal pools. Now, these are natural ones, obviously, no concrete at all. Spectacular. And then you make your way all the way down. Other optional cultural experiences. Marsella, another beautiful town with pigeons, as you can see. Beautiful, colourful town, beautiful views. As you can see, all of these, coffee. You're going to see so much coffee. These are actually Platano as well. In the coffee zone, there is so much culture here. You will see it all the time, everywhere you go. There's so many beautiful little towns, and this is one of them. One of many that you can go and visit. It really is a wonderful location. From here, we can actually also do a coffee tour there as well. As I was saying, we do a number of coffee tours around. Marsella would be over this way. There it is, Marsella. So it's going up here. It's about an hour out of Pereira. So we can do the tour up here. It really is a beautiful town to go and visit. And that can be largest tours, large-ish groups as well, but not too large. When I'm saying largest group for that, you could do probably a group of around about 40 to 60 people. They've got some beautiful botanical gardens there as well. It's a beautiful location to walk around, just to enjoy this town by itself. And they've got, as I said, coffee tour, and we can do a cacao tour there as well. Not quite the traditional part of, but it is spectacular little town. This particular one, I really like it because it just happens to also be where I live. So this is Viterbo. It's got about 12,000 odd people here. We have a really cool coffee and cacao tour that we provide here. I'm not sure why the video is not working. It's put it private for some reason. Okay, but this is a really good tour. Traditional coffee tour and cacao tour. It's a combination of the two. We have the coffee and the cacao. You walk around with the owners of this sort of thing, owners of this farm who have had this in their family for around 70, 80 years, I think it is. You get to pick some coffee. You get to understand everything from seed to cup, as is normal with the coffee tours, but also with this cacao tour. So you understand everything and the process in the way of roasting the cacao beans. You're going to burn your fingertips a little bit when you're taking the husk off. You're going to be doing everything by hand. So very much the traditional way of making chocolate, and you'll have the best, tastiest chocolate for this. This particular tour is like 4 hours, okay? But depending on where you're staying, coming from Salento, it might make it like a 6-hour tour, 7-hour tour. Coming from Pereira, it'll make about a 5 to 6 hour tour. So it depends on where you're staying. If you're just in Viterbo, it's around about a 4-hour tour. Got a really cool panela tour. Okay, not everybody knows what panela is. Panela is like the healthy version of sugar. So in Colombia, one of the laws that I really like in Colombia is that the big companies cannot own vanilla factories. So these are all family owned. Doesn't mean that a large family can't own them, but these are all family owned. Excuse me. Okay, now the process. It's sugarcane. It comes in on these mules. It's then goes through a grinder to go and squeeze the juice out. The juice then comes into these vats, boiling hot, obviously, as you can see. And what happens is they go and scoop it out of one vat, put it into the next, and the next, and each vat, they are purifying it all the time. Over here is all the husk. This is all the cane after the all the juice has been squeezed out. Now this then goes into this fire, which goes like basically 24 hours a day. And it goes and goes and goes. It's a really cool tour. This is what is made at the end of it. It is a very artisanal experience. Really cool. For those who like flying a little bit, up here has some really cool, a really cool opportunity, a location, go paragliding and seeing some of the spectacular views from up high. It really is a beautiful location. I keep repeating that, but it is. Look, this is where I live. I live here for a reason. It is a spectacular location. The people are wonderful. They're friendly. The views, the food, as we'll get to soon, the fruit, the climate. It is just a wonderful place to live. And that is I didn't mention much about it, up here, and that's the paragliding over there. This is the entrance to the little town where I live. This is called the Tunnel of the Samanes, and it's a beautiful tunnel, as you can see, going all the way down here. And what happens when the trees are getting a little bit sick, a local artisan comes along, cuts them down, and goes and crafts something amazing in here. And there's normally a photo, I don't know why I've removed it, or somebody removed it, but of Jesus, which is a huge Jesus, or a Jesus for those that don't know Jesus, who's about 12 meters tall. Really is cool. Now this is Balocasa. Balocasa is up high. This is a Jesus as well. This is what's different about this one, is this particular statue, you can climb up inside. So you can go right up and look out at different viewing points. You see this is actually Viterbo, so you can actually go past there on the way to Viterbo. And you can look out of Jesus's nostrils. So just for something new, something different, something spectacular, it's something to really enjoy. There's different views of, you can see 4 different states of Colombia when you're up there. You can even look down and see a river going one way and another river going another way from one side of the mountain to the other side. It's really cool. Another really cool experience there. Now, I am going to have a little break right now, and Miss Natalia is going to take over, and she is going to talk about food. Now, do you want me to share the food, the food?
Share, all right, I think I can do it too. I can share and show one of the 15 traditional coffee zone dishes. And as Bruce had mentioned, well, this is an area that's full of diversity. We've been blessed for a geographical position where we have 2 big frozen mountains. There are Nevado del Ruiz and Nevado Santa Isabel, and we are in the middle of that, which had would give us a volcanic soil that helps the growth of different crops. One of them is the coffee, and all our food is based on that crop-based products. So as you see, one of the go back to the food, and I will talk about I will talk about the bandeja paisa, and it's a reflection of our culture. So we have beans that grow and as an associate crop that grows with the coffee. We have meat, we have pork, we have plantains, also another crop that grows side by side with the coffee. We have avocado. That was one of the trees that was used to give shadow for the coffee beans to grow. We have now different plants, so they don't need that shadow, but originally it was like that. So yeah, chickens, rice, which is uh, also part of the coffee, the heritage coffee area. That is a part of the Huila, and there's like a, if you remember, we have a big mountain trail, and there's like a gap. In that gap, there's where they Ibagué. So it would be all that mountain area, and we have like in the middle depression, and in that depression they grow rice. So that's why it is connected. It's been a traditional pass between the Magdalena. So it was an ancient route. People will go through from Medellin to the coffee Manizales and stuff, then go down to the Magdalena and go up. So it was like the traditional, one of the traditional ways to go from one place to another. As you all know, la colonización antioqueña started in Medellin. The people came down from Medellin and colonized this area. They found that it was proper to grow coffee beans, and that's how they established. Most of the people that came on that colonización antioqueña came from Spain. Some of them were Jews. Some of them came from also from Arabic countries like Lebanon, or I would say most of them from Lebanon. So it's an interesting mix of cultures. Of course, a lot of people from Spain. Um, all the dynamic with the slaves, they will come too. So it's an interesting, oh my gosh, interested mix. And that's how we have all this food that is so rich and full of flavors. Uh, the mondongo is basically a Spanish dish. It's a replica of it. We had add some Colombian touch like the plantain. So you will have plantain on this soup in Colombia. You will never have it in Spain, but it is delicious and it turns out really, really good for my taste. We have also ajiaco is more than um, from the plains, like more in the area of Bogota, but we also, as I said, it was an market area or road, and that's why we also eat some of this food. It has potato, which of course we don't grow here, but they will bring it, or so it's also in our culture. Sancocho, one of the most spread soups in all Colombia. It's everything that you can find on your farm. So whatever you have there, you will put in it. It has yuca, it has potatoes or plantain, maize, meat, whatever meat you have. And if you have the fortune to have a chicken, pork, and beef, you will put all three of them in that. So yeah, it's the kind of food that we like here in Colombia, full of nutritious and energizing um, ingredients. Lechona, this is we will also eat it a lot here, but it is more from the rice area because it's a pork full of rice. It's delicious. It takes a long, long time to be cooked, but it's definitely worth it. We had it with some with a sweet from the panela that is called insulso, and with arepa, which we haven't mentioned, but it is like our start in the culinary. Here we can have arepa for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. So it's a side dish that we love. Beans, as I said, we have beans also for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the reason why is because it's an extraordinary fount of protein. So when you don't have all those extra proteins, a good plate of red beans, rice, and an egg, it's more than enough for a 12 hours journey. That is what a worker here in Colombia is used to. Tamales is a breakfast also that's made from the corn flour. You cook it with the pork fat in order to have this dough that you will also fill with rice, um, You can put rice, you can put some green beans, you can put, well, it depends on where you're doing it. We have different versions and they all claim to be delicious because they are. All the versions that we have are delicious. And this particular meal, it's really important because it gives us something that we need, and it's the facility to take food from one place to another. So as I said before, we are part of a group of people that came from north, and that people used to take journeys that will last days. So having the possibility to take and pack everything on a plantain leaf and take it and then heat it easily and faster is it was an advantage. So we have this plate, and we also have the fiambre that is really, really popular. I don't know if we have it under it, but it is also lentils that, as I mentioned, come from our Arabic roots. They're delicious, and I would say that they're different of what you can find in other places. We put veggies on it. Some other cultures put too, but the spices that we put make them more blendable. Like we can mix it with whatever we want. They're not as infused like in other cultures. So they're really nice, and a side dish that is very versatile. Then we have the caldo de costilla. That's another breakfast, and full of energy, and it is delicious. And of course, if you are high up in the mountains, having hot soup in the morning, it's all you need to start a beautiful day. Patacones, plantains, something else that comes from our culture into our African heritage. So you can find them in all kind of preparations. My favorites are the sweet ones because they're not that common. So we cook them when they're sweet, when they're green, when they're almost ripened, when they're like in each one of the presentations that you can imagine. We don't waste. That's something really important in the Colombian and the coffee culture cuisine, that we don't waste anything. So for instance, we do get the coffee, but we can also do a jam from the mucílago of the coffee. We can also use then the ground of the coffee that we use in the morning to um, put on the compost for the coffee beans plants. So that's something that is really into our culture, and you understand it through our food. We don't waste. Empanadas, another example of why we don't waste anything, because after having a big bandeja paisa, if you have leftovers, you just make a dough with the corn. It's a different preparation. You fill it with whatever you want, then you fry it, and oh my God, you can have a delicious appetizer for the afternoons. This goes well with everything, and especially with our diente in the afternoons after a long day of work. So yeah, that's something else that is really into our culture, and it's those little pleasures. So we have strong coffee in the morning to wake up. We can have one, two, three, or if you're one of those persons, you can have it all morning. Then we will have with lunch sweet juice of panela, as Bruce was saying. That's another crop that we grow, and yeah, so guandolo or chicha or whatever drink you make with the delicious panela with lemon, and that's delicious, and that will give you extra energy. And in the afternoon or in between, while you're working in the picking up the coffee beans, you will always have a petaca de aguardiente, and here and there you would have a shot for extra energy. Arepas, as I said, is a side dish, but it goes with everything. It's delicious. It's really versatile, and I see it more and more into this all new culinary wave here. So they do amazing things with arepa, and you can like be surprised of what they can fill it with or mix it with. So yeah, we have different ones. So we have the white ones, or this yellow that comes from a different corn of a different corn. So yeah, full of cheese, full of meat, full of pork, full of uh, chicken, whatever you want to fill it in, it is delicious. Buñuelos is another dough. This is filled with a kind of cheese that we made. that is really salty, and it is it's delicious. It's a fried delicacy. We have a lot of fried food, and goes really well with our coffee. Mazamorra, and that's how we raise our kids. So this is milk with corn, and it is, yeah, if you need that extra boost of energy or to get yourself better, this is what you have. Delicious. You can have it with what they have there is guayaba sweet, delicious bocadillo. We also have that, and that's one of the that's our energy bar. So we would cross mountains out of bocadillo cheese and tangerines. So that's pretty much it. I think I have covered each one of our traditional dishes. Nowadays, the Colombian cuisine is growing into um, mix all these identity items or originally foods or ingredients and then mix it with different trends. So there's restaurants where you can find avant-garde food like Diego Paneso. He's not longer open, his restaurant is no longer open, but he was one of the first ones who started doing that kind of mix. Um, yeah, there's really traditional restaurants here that excel all these delicious foods that we have mentioned. But yeah, I think it's something to have in mind is that, as I said, this food was all intended to feel a person that is going to work for long hours. So it's heavy, it's not that easy to digest, but it's delicious and it's really recomforting. So it definitely worth to try. And as I said, it can be adjusted to different kind of menus. So I have seen foods that three meal courses, really on the cutlery, so nice and elegant, based on this variety of ingredients. I think that's pretty much it about the coffee zone food. Mm, yeah, we covered it all.
Thank you. That's it. It's all good. Gracias, Natalia.
It's a
I
pleasure. I
didn't.
can keep going for hours. I love
Oh,
food, and uh, that's something that really builds our identity.
that's okay. We can talk about it later if you wish. But right now, I just realized I didn't ask anybody if they have any questions. I went through all or pretty much most of the activities and experiences that you can do in the coffee zone, but I didn't ask to have a break for any questions. So, has anybody got any questions about any of those tours, any of those experiences that I was mentioning before I go on to talking about the hotels?
I think like I don't have a question, but I do think like something that is really important to emphasize is how versatile those locations and activities can be. Like for groups or like for incentives and in companies, like the possibility of have activities that merge culture, identity, original or unique destinations with the team building, work different activities to, I don't know, that kind of thing is something that
No, it's true.
yeah, and the destination provides that kind um, of experiences more than others, I would say. And it's so like it's small, everything is close by. So that's something that I really think that is a big advantage for the region, you know?
You're true. It's true. 100% right. Correct. There is a large variety of things that people can do, especially for the team building. There are a number of different hotels. Like I've just on this link, I've got a number of hotels that I like, which are higher end. The Hacienda Bambuso, uh, Buena Vista, Terrasul is one of my favorite ones. In Salento, glamping in the Cacao Valley. They're all for sort of smaller groups in that way, though. There's for large groups. we've pretty much would have to use the Movich at this point in time. If we're looking at a group of, over 100, then you're looking at the Movich. Less than 100, then there's a few different places around that you could have a look at, but there are some beautiful hotels. I'm happy to share this link with anybody as well of hotels that we like, that we recommend. As well as that, there's some beautiful hotels for smaller groups like that. Nido del Condor. There's a Tamales here. There's different Hacienda Venecia, which is a really nice coffee farm as well. You do different experiences there. The Tamales La Quinta, the only way to get to this property is actually on horseback. So it's got some beautiful activities, waterfalls and stuff there as well. So, and even to get to where you have to get to take the horse, you have to actually go on a 4x4. So it's not like easy accessible location, but you can tell by this, it's a spectacular destination.
Yeah, totally.
But there's a number of places that you could do for smaller groups, 20, 40 people sort of thing. You can do these sorts of beautiful locations.
We are living aside Las Camelias. That's another hotel that offers a little bit more commercial perspective of it. It is close to the coffee park, the National Park of Coffee, and it is, they have a bigger group capability. So I think it's another option close to Alcalá, more or less, in Quimbaga.
See, I just thought of the Decameron as well.
Las Camelias, the other one is
the Heliconia.
La
I think Parque El Cafe is here.
Parque El Café, Panaca.
Decameron, there we go. Decameron is another one, but I just thought of then as well. For larger groups, you could put around this area, and then you've got some activities at the Parque del Cafe or the other one.
There are interesting. Las Heliconias we already showed. Las Camelias is the other one that is big and offers a possibility of. It is.
I can't see it right now.
No, I don't know why.
Calacar's here.
It's Parque El Café, but I don't know why it doesn't pop out. And as I was saying, they're not authentic coffee farms, but they have that spirit, which is nice, and they offer like big hotel facilities, which I think is important for groups, though, definitely. No. Yeah, that one.
Right there.
Yeah.
Las Camelias.
See, so that's another option for groups. Okay, let you go on without the hotel.
Now, that was pretty much all that I was going to mention about the hotels. There are some really nice hotels. A newer one, which I haven't actually had the opportunity to go to yet, is this one here, which looks really cool. Beautiful views. It's a high-end hotel. Doesn't have many rooms. My understanding they've got 14, is what I understand. But they've got a swimming pool, they've got spa, exceptional food. I've heard a lot about the food. I think I'll have to talk to my wife about going there for one weekend, I think, because, I have to do these sort of site visits. And yes, but that's something that I really do need to go to. But this is Casa Tura, which is only about a year old now, I think.
A little bit more than a year now. They have their restaurant first. Definitely experience that you have to have. The food is delicious.
Okay, carrying on. Next, I was going to talk about distances, traveling. Okay, I mentioned earlier, best place to fly in and out of Coffee Zone is Pereira. I'd say a good 95% of the people will fly in and out of Pereira. Armenia, not too bad. Not as many flights going in and out of here. Manizales, not so common. It's high up in the mountains. Can be fogged in quite often, unfortunately. And so it's not somewhere where I'd plan a trip on going in and out of. And pretty much, basically, the flights go from Manizales to Bogota. If it's going to go anywhere else, it's going to have a layover in Bogota. But if you're driving Bogota to Pereira, look, a really good day, you're looking about 8 hours. A bad day, 12, 14 hours. You're going to be leaving, you know, ideally best time to travel from Bogota to Pereira is probably leaving around 4 a.m. to miss so much traffic. So it's not a great idea. 99.9% of our travelers will fly. If you're going from Pereira to Salento, it's just like 40 odd minutes, 45 minutes. Pereira, Armenia, close to an hour. Pereira, Manizales, about an hour. If you're going Pereira to Medellin, you're looking around 5 hours. 5-hour drive now, more or less. Once again, traffic depending. If you're going to Cali, you're looking around 3.5 hours here, more or less, 3.5. And those are pretty much the only places that you drive to. You're not going to be going up to Cartagena. You're not going to go to anywhere else, really. You don't want to drive. It's very mountainous. The roads aren't as good as where they may be in other countries. So definitely that's the only places that you'd go. Flights. Now, Flight Connection, I think I've mentioned before, probably every single time. It's my favorite website for finding those direct flights. Okay. Direct flights, Pereira. We've got Bogota, Medellin, Santa Marta, Cartagena. Those are the 1, 2, 3, 4 different locations we can get a direct flight, domestic flight in Colombia. Panama is basically my go-to. Whenever I go to the US, I basically use Copper Airlines and go, unless I'm in Bogota at the time, go via Panama, and then you've got a connection basically everywhere in the US. There's this direct flight with Avianca from New York to Pereira, but this only goes from December to February. Okay, when Pereira gets busier, as it will, we know it will, there's always construction going on, there's new hotels getting built, so we know that it's going to get busier. Then this will extend. It won't just be December to February, and I think even this is with Avianca, and I think American Airlines have one or plan to have one going Miami to Pereira as well in the near future.
It used to be from Armenia to, oh my God, is it Miami with the Spirit? But I think it won't be running for much longer now with the situation of Spirit, but that was another option.
I think Spirit has gone into liquidation.
Yeah.
Okay. Almost there. This is the last thing before finishing off today's webinar. Weather or not weather. Okay. This is once again another thing that you'll find this link on my website. You'll find this in the guide, the city guide, which I'll be sharing with everybody who's here today. Pereira, temperatures, it's pretty much nice all year long. You know, as you can see, temperature is pretty much the same all year long. We do have a bit of a wet season, a few wet seasons, but I'll stress this, you can't predict anything nowadays, but with climate change, the wet seasons can be shorter or longer, the dry season shorter or longer. This is going on history. It's not, you know, so you can see sort of generally when the better times to travel are, but you can't 100% say when is the best time to travel. Okay, this is where I live. The turbo, it's got to be in here. It's generally warm to hot here. Now I think I've covered everything. I think I have. Sorry, I just saw a question that was asked before. Sorry, Andrea. How many days would you suggest to stay in the coffee zone? Okay, good question. It's kind of like how long is a piece of string in a way. It depends on what you want to do, how much relaxation you want. If you want a full immersion in those coffee plantations, do you want to stay in one of those fincas? Do you want to go on a cycle ride through the mountains? Do you want to go on the back of a Willis Jeep? Which are the 4x4 Willis Jeeps, the same ones from where are they? Korean War, that the US Army had in the Korean War, and they're repurposed here, and they are basically the public transportation in those small towns. Is that what you're looking for? We can do excursions on that. It all depends on what you're really looking for. I say a minimum of 4 days. I say a minimum of 4 days in any destination in Colombia, simply because you're looking at like half a day, more or less, to get somewhere, and half a day to leave to go somewhere else. So I say a minimum of 4 days. It gives you 2 full days to do activities. Once again, depends on what you want to do. You want to go hiking, if you want to just relax, thermal pools are sensational. If you want to go bird watching, not everybody's a bird watcher, but you can definitely, it's not like you have a choice here. There's so much bird life here. It is amazing. It's one of the best places in the world. It is one of the friendliest places. You won't find a friendlier place in South America. It is a spectacular location. Okay, see if I've finished. If there's anything I've missed. I think I've mentioned everything. I'm just going through my list now. I just want to thank everybody I thank Natalia for helping me out this time with this, with sharing her expertise in the food.
Oh, thank you, Bruce, and claps to you. Thank you for having me and share a little bit of the knowledge that I have, that I have inherited and that I'm really proud of. So
excellent. Okay, thank you to everybody else who joined us, and I hope this was very helpful. If you need any help in the future, you know where to find me and my team. Thank you, everybody.